What's going on, everybody? It's been a while. Four Eyes Malone. I'm finally gonna talk about Cyberpunk 2077. It's been weeks. It's been some weeks. A lot of updates, a lot of glitches, a lot of fixes, a lot of internet debacle, a lot of shutting down this, shutting down that, stop selling that, doing whatever with this and that. So I'm not gonna make this video long. As you know, if you follow my videos, follow me over the last months of 2020. I was really excited for Cyberpunk. Going into it, really excited. Waited all these years for it. Bought into the hype. You know, when it comes down to it, I get the game. Everything kind of goes into this situation of this. They weren't showing console footage. It was only PC codes for reviewers. All that kind of stuff. And I kept my head up high. I was like, okay, no, I think it's gonna be fine. They did all these delays. I don't see how this game can come out, to be so bad. And the game isn't bad. I'll say that. Obviously, if you follow gaming, you follow the internet, a lot of what's been going on with Cyberpunk. But for me, this game didn't live up to what I wanted it to be. When I look at it from a gameplay standpoint, it turned into more of a Fallout game than I was expecting. I like Fallout, I like Skyrim, those type of games. But with Cyberpunk, for some reason, I got, this could be me. I got the impression of a different kind of game. Whether it was for the simple fact that coming from it being CD Projekt Red, which created the Witcher series, Witcher 3, one of my favorite games. I was really hoping for them to, raise the bar from that. And playing the game, gameplay wise, it didn't feel right when you switch from a third person action RPG like The Witcher to a first person action RPG that's more of a shooter, whatnot. The shooting mechanics, I was hoping from even saying in past videos, I was thinking it's gonna be better than Fallout, and I can say that it is, but I never really felt like when I was shooting in the game that I felt so great. It kind of depended on the gun, and I can't say that my experience is 100%. I did one playthrough. I didn't do every side quest. I did a good amount. I did not do as much as I should have. I made some mistakes in my playthrough, so people could say I didn't get the experience that I should have got out of it, because I didn't even do a romance situation, which going into that kind of spoilers, that kind of changes things for the end of the game. But going back to action specifically, the melee didn't feel that great to me, in my opinion. The gun shooting was just average at best, in my opinion. You can't expect a game like that to have everything, but when you coming from my standpoint, playing games like Call of Duty, coming from Apex, even can't even think of an example. Just games that have more, when you just really feel that sense of shooting, that just feels good when you hold the controller in your hands. And I just didn't get that from this game. And the problem with saying that is, when you play Cyberpunk, they say there's different ways. You can go about things by hacking, stealth. You can be a shooter, but it kind of dials down to really just, if you want to get the game done faster, then shooting is like the easiest way. Like, if you want to take more time, and in my opinion, it feels like a waste sometimes hacking as much. And there's certain scenarios where you have to do hacking, but you really never have to. The most that I did in this game, for the majority of the time, was just turn cameras off, make it a little easier. I did stealth a few missions, but it never was something that I felt like was so great. Like, I never felt like the stealth made sense. The AI in the game is just not good. The AI in the game is not good, especially if you're talking about the NPCs, where their actions don't meet the scenarios. You could be shooting the street up and it's just people kind of cowering around. There's no true sense of like fear going on. The cops, they don't chase you, and it seems like when looking at the internet, that a lot of that stuff seemed like cut content, maybe, where cops should have been chasing you around town if you did something. Like, you get warnings, kind of like a GTA situation, but you never really feel a sense of danger from the cops unless you're just on the street with them. There's nobody really pursuing you at all times. I really looked into the game for the cars. Um, when you're playing the game, you're not able to really get everything unless a lot of people are doing a money glitch. I didn't do that to get more cars. I bought a few. I bought the Akira looking bike. I can't remember the name of it. Um, Bought like one other car, but I was really looking forward to the cars in the game. I didn't really feel like I needed to do that because there's really no perks to having more cars besides just having them and kind of showing that you paid for it. Because you get a car from the game, gives you a car and a bike basically automatically. So, and there's nothing really that puts you in a position where you need something faster or this and that. And even the driving didn't feel that great. It felt better when you ride on the bikes, the motorcycles, but even then, the braking system didn't feel good to me. Mission wise, story wise, I feel like the game it's average. I cared about the story, which is why I went through the main story faster than I thought it was, and I didn't do as many side quests because the game kind of suffers from putting it into like the main story is so dramatic in a sense of it puts a time setting on it, but it's not, there's no countdown in the game, but just from dialogue, they give you a countdown essentially, and you feel this sense of urgency playing the game. But going through it, I never really felt like, oh man, going these side quests. Like there's a couple that I enjoyed. There's a couple Easter eggs that are pretty funny, but I never felt like, oh man, I just have to keep doing these side missions. It really just turned into me wanting to get more money. Going through the main story, it was okay. Like I said, it was good. It was average. Getting to the end of the game, which is why I'm kind of like going back and forth. I didn't feel a sense of like accomplishment when I got to the end of the game. It kind of puts you in a scenario of like, whatever you do, it is what it is. Like regardless of how you play the game, it kind of all goes into the same place. So, and I beat the game probably like 2 weeks ago now. And I just don't feel like I really want to go back to it, to say the least. I might, when the PS5 patch eventually comes out, I did play on PS5. When the patch does come out eventually, I will want to check it out when they get better resolutions and textures and things. It looks good on PS5, It didn't help playing this game with as many crashes. I probably experienced up to 15 to 20 crashes playing on PS5. It ran on this SSD, so load times weren't bad. Just overall, I don't like trying to put scores on games. I would say it's an above average game overall, but the problem is that it didn't meet expectations for what I was looking at, and talking to, even friends of mine that didn't do as much research as a lot of the Cyberpunk fandom did prior to it releasing. I feel like a lot of people enjoyed it more having not had such high expectations like I did. You obviously right now you can still buy the game. You can't buy it digitally on PlayStation because of the limitations that Sony put after all the allegations and false advertising, things like that came upon Project Red in December. I wish this game would have came out, probably just say if they would have delayed it till this April of 2021, that'd have been fine. And that's all in hindsight. Even then though, I was excited for the game. I'm not mad that I purchased the game day one, but if they, looking at it now, it's like, yeah, that game needed time. Like I talked about AI earlier, where the cars drive around town, and if you sit in front of it, the cars won't move. Like there's no, like something happened in the development of this game where they tried to do too much and ended up taking it down somehow. And I felt like, honestly, for the people that made The Witcher 3, it just doesn't seem like it's the same people. And I'm not exactly sure how that happened. I didn't necessarily look into, if there's how much personnel change had been since Witcher 3 came out. And a lot of people say this game had been in development for 7 years or so, but it really was about 4. But when you think about a game of this scale, you just really look at it like, man, they really have to dial in, and it's really a lesson on AAA gaming for the future, where we really have to just kind of temper expectations. We always say that, but with Cyberpunk really showed, and I think it's gonna benefit games like Halo for Xbox coming out this year, and just other big AAA games, especially first party now, where people they're not gonna rush as much, because you can't have this situation happen so many times. Even though, people spent their money, CD Projekt Red made it, they made over what they paid to produce the game. But from a consumer standpoint, it's time for people like me who fell for the hype, to kind of just say, it's enough. We can't, give in to pre-order bonuses and things like that. And CD Projekt Red didn't even have pre-order bonuses. That's the funny thing. This was something from a lot of goodwill from people that made really good games in the past and did so well with DLC and, keeping people interested in their products. And the way that they promoted this game was so high level, that you just felt like, had to play this game. And it went so far and they made so much money, but I'm curious as to see where this leads them, where it leads for their DLC in the future, how much they can really change the game, things like that. So, overall, like I said, I didn't cover everything. I waited a long time to talk about Cyberpunk. And I didn't know. I did play it as Street Kid, and like I said, everything kind of leads down one path, and they put so much hype into, life paths, and you get to make choices, and it really just boils down to kind of different dialogue. Some missions change based on what you do. If you kill somebody, they probably, they're dead, whatnot. But it just didn't feel like what they said matched what happened. And possibly they could have done that with more time, I'm not sure. But from what I saw, what I played, it didn't live up to everything that I was expecting. So overall, if you have Cyberpunk, I hope you're enjoying it. I'm curious what other people may say in the comments. Like I said, it's an above average game. To me, if I'm gonna rank it, it's a 7-8. I can't really go any higher. Like, just from a expectation standpoint and just from the intricacies of how the game runs, it's not, it plays like, if you just play it for a video game, it's fine. But for what we were looking for, what I was looking for, isn't what I got. So, all that being said, thank you for watching. If you got this far, I'm 4 Hours Malone. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe. Should be getting more videos up in the future. Also, look at me on twitch.tv/4hoursmalone. And I'll be out. Peace.